Thank you so much for taking your time from your day to spend some time with us. I'm honored to be here with representatives from Gate Precast and Master Builder Solutions to tell you about their solutions for sustainable construction. And I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the big news from yesterday, the president releasing the executive order for the federal sustainability plan, and it is game on. This administration is serious about making the government lead by example and make decisions around clean energy, build cleaner buildings. There's real commitment, real dollars, and real need for the kinds of solutions that you'll be learning about today. So the agenda will be a quick introduction. I'm Terry Swack, the founder and CEO of Sustainable Minds. I'll tell you a little bit about Sustainable Minds for those of you who are new to us, and the transparency catalog. And then Brian and Mike from Gate Precast will tell you about what they've been working on, followed by Suzanne from MBCC Group, of which Master Builders is part of, and she'll tell you about that relationship as well. And we'll do a demo of the catalog to show you how easy it is to use to find their products as well as others. And if you have questions at any time, please put them in the chat panel or in the questions panel. We'll monitor those. If we don't get to answer your questions while we're here on the webinar, we'll definitely follow up with you to get them answered. The webinar is being recorded. We'll get a copy of a link to the recording in the next day or two. You can also request the deck. And so here we go. So I founded Sustainable Minds in 2007. We're a mission-based company. Our mission has always been to operationalize environmental performance in mainstream manufacturing for the intent to drive revenue and growth through greener product innovation. So we're a software and services company with deep expertise in life cycle assessment, material ingredient disclosure, and carbon accounting. So that's something that's on people's minds, scope 1, 2, and 3. And that's something we're spending a lot of time doing with some of our manufacturing customers. We are the only end-to-end product transparency solutions provider in the market today. We are a program operator. We create product category rules and develop environmental product declarations. We deliver LCA and these technical services. But all of those things are in service to helping manufacturers credibly market and sell their higher performing, greener and healthier products. So the transparency catalog is really the final destination for manufacturers' products with transparency information to really leverage their investments in transparency to help people who, like you, who are interested in building higher performing, incredibly greener and healthier buildings are looking to find solutions. So with the transparency catalog, our intent is really to revolutionize green building or high performance building, product selection, specification, and procurement to grow revenue and brand value for building product manufacturers. So the way we're doing that is by radically simplifying what is a very complex area of expertise, but radically simplifying the ability to not only find the manufacturers, find their products in each master format, division, and section, but to make that transparency information more understandable and meaningful so that better solutions, better decisions can be made, and ultimately for the manufacturers to make their investments in transparency pay off. I'll be doing a demo a little bit later. Here's the front page of the transparency catalog. It's updated continually with new brands. Today we have manufacturers in 27 master format divisions and now over 1,000 master format sections. So there really almost isn't any kind of a building that is likely to get built where there aren't manufacturers who have invested in transparency, you really should be able to select, specify, and procure materials and products across the entire project specification from manufacturers who have invested in transparency information. Today, we're going to give you kind of a sneak preview of some functionality we're starting to roll out that will be part of a larger release that we'll be announcing in January, where we're making it really easy for you to contact a manufacturer, contact the right person at the manufacturer, or help them get in touch, the right person get in touch with you, point you to helpful resources on their site. And also, I'll, in the demo, be showing you how the master format filtering is super powerful, so that very quickly, I mean, literally in 1 to 2 clicks, you'll find exactly the materials and products you're looking for in one or more master format sections. So with that, I'm going to turn things over to Suzanne and have you take it away.
Great, thanks Terry. Thanks for having me today. My name is Suzanne Lianopoulos, and I'll talk a little bit today about who we are as a company, how we approach sustainability, and why material transparency is so important. I'm having a little trouble advancing the slides. Oh, there we go. So quickly, a little bit about myself. I have 20 years of industry experience on the product manufacturer side. That's essentially divided into 4 buckets. So research and development, strategy, product management, and marketing. I began my career as a scientist where I developed new dispersant-based admixtures for concrete, which are actually a primary tool that enable high performance, lower embodied carbon concrete. So what's kind of fun is that my professional career started very early thinking about sustainability, and I've transitioned that into really a career of trying to make a difference. I can't do it by myself, of course, but I can work with a lot of other like-minded partners within construction. My current responsibilities are focused on supporting the AEC community and connecting them to our building solutions that can help them achieve their sustainable construction goals. And so if you aren't familiar with us, Master Builders Solutions, as Terry mentioned, is part of the larger MBCC group, which emerged from the former BASF construction chemicals business. We're one of the leading suppliers of construction chemicals and solutions worldwide, with over 100 years of experience in the construction industry across all construction sectors, including any new construction, maintenance, repair, and restoration. We have a pretty big portfolio, pretty comprehensive, that encompasses air, water resistant barriers, concrete admixtures and fibers, waterproofing systems, sealants, concrete repair and protection, performance grouts, resinous flooring, continuous insulation wall systems, and joint. And these images give you kind of little pop-outs of where you can find our solutions on any type of structure. If you don't recognize MBCC Group, I hope that you recognize our brands, which are over here on the right: Master Builders Solutions, Watson Bowman Acme, and Synergy. And so if you take a look, stepping back a little bit and taking a look at some of the global trends in the construction market, you'll quickly see 3 things from this slide. 1, that the market is valued at about $300 billion, so it's big. 2, that it's growing at a rate that's significantly higher than most of the construction sectors, which hover in the low single digits when they're positive. And then 3, more than 1/3 of this growth is coming from North America. So from a pure product manufacturer's business perspective, not only is participating in the sustainable construction market like the right thing to do, but it's actually a very, very attractive market to take part in. So if you take a look at some of the key things that are supporting this growth, because you always want to make sure that growth in any market is supported by something. One of the key things is that it makes good financial sense. So there was a recent survey that was conducted and reported by the Dodge Construction Network that indicate that it's a good investment for owners because sustainable and healthier buildings actually help them to lower their operating costs. And if you look at that top bar, you'll see that 66% of the survey responders said that they invest in green building because it helps their bottom line. And I can't think of a better, indicator to support growth when it's actually helping the bottom line. So why do we care about sustainability? I'm happy to say that as a company, we've been incorporating sustainability into our overall strategy. We've been working on it for, more than 20 years. Baby steps at first. Today, globally, we have more than 35% of all of our products delivered by our group of companies are sustainably advanced. So we care about product transparency because it really is a key aspect of our overall strategy. We're working to continue to develop this type of technology that has, quantified sustainable benefits in order to address the needs of our customers and the needs of the industry. We're fortunate to have sustainability experts representing not only the regions where our companies operate, but also across the business function, which allows us to really take a holistic approach and incorporate sustainability really in all that we do. And so due to the nature and the breadth of our portfolio, we have about 3,200 products. Obviously, we can't do all of that at once, so we've really focused our efforts on key solutions that are going to make the biggest impact in the market in terms of being sustainable solutions that people really need and make a big impact. So we offer both material transparency disclosures and impact reporting. We've generated material transparency disclosures by way of HPDs for our key solutions, primarily in divisions 07 and 09. So these are the products, for us at least, that our customers buy and use directly on a job site, like sealants or coatings, things like that. Then we focused our impact reporting through EPDs and eco-efficiency analysis that primarily address our solutions for 03, so our concrete portfolio. We work with respect to our EPDs and eco-efficiency analyses, we work really closely with our ready-mix and precast concrete producer customers to develop these that are specific to their mixes, which allows for a very transparent view of their impact, and it allows for comparisons between the mixes. So we're fortunate to be able to work with sustainably advanced producers like you'll hear later today, like Gate Precast, who are really doing some innovative things with precast. If this conversation is interesting, I'm happy to connect you with our expert within the company, David Green, who has really been doing eco-efficiency analyses and EPDs for quite a long time, and I'm happy to put you in contact with him. Going forward, something that's exciting is that we do plan to grow our offering of both impact and transparency disclosures by 50% in the near future. So that's a significant improvement. These next few slides, oh, I'm sorry, I neglected to comment. You saw our listing on the right hand of the previous slide. Here, Terry mentioned this earlier. You see our listing starting on the left. You see our expanded listing in the middle, and then the new feature where both David and my contact information is listed there. So you can reach out and contact us directly, and we'll be happy to talk with you. These next few slides show some examples of projects where we've been able to help the design team achieve their sustainable construction goals through our solutions performance and the availability of our transparency documentation. So this first example is the Microsoft campus headquarters, where we were able to supply them, working with our producers, with lower embodied carbon concrete. It was a nice big project. The second example is the CalSTR's new headquarters, again on the West Coast in California, where we were able to help them achieve their goals by providing material transparency information on our sealants and our wall coatings. And finally, the third project I wanted to highlight was the Belle Chase garage bus garage in Quebec, Canada, where again, they had some pretty aggressive sustainability goals, and we were able to support them with our products from deck coatings and expansion joints. We've learned a lot from creating these disclosures. Very specifically on our wet applied products, we identified some gaps in our emissions testing of some of our products, specifically the latest CDPH testing. We've already taken this back not only to the existing products, but we've incorporated and adjusted our product development process to make sure that we address these emissions more comprehensively from the beginning. Additionally, while performance is always key, we have even stronger motivation to achieve the desired levels of performance through healthier materials. We've also learned, you'll see a chart on the right-hand side of this slide, we've also learned that our concrete admixture technologies can be what we called stackable technologies to help further reduce embodied carbon in concrete. There are a fair number of concrete technologies out there that help reduce embodied carbon in concrete. We're actually, through expertise and material science, we're able to combine them and create mixes that generate even better results than we could with technologies, in single use. Using transparency as a product selection filter, it's going to help you find products that contribute to your sustainable construction goals, and it's going to highlight the companies or manufacturers or producers that want to help contribute to a healthier, more sustainable built environment. They're willing to work, if you can't find something, these are the companies that are going to want to work to help you find a solution. And my guidance would be to look for products on Sustainable Minds, use them as a guide, and then reach out to the manufacturers to help, better understand the risk or better leverage that information. And finally, product transparency is one of the major keys in achieving a healthier, more sustainable built environment. The UN Sustainable Development Goals, the USGBC, the Living Futures Institute, and others have established a framework which highlights the importance of material transparency, and it gives us kind of a map at how practically it can be achieved. And so with this guidance, the construction community as a whole needs to continue to drive the demand for more sustainable solutions, especially in the US, which based on Terry's earlier slide, it sounds like we're taking a nice big step in the right direction. And so understanding what's in our products that we create and the structures they're used in is going to help us understand and mitigate risks, which will ultimately drive innovation and steer our investments. And with that, I'll hand it over.
Hey, thank you, Suzanne. That's a great story you have to tell, and you guys are doing so much work over there. It's even hard for people to kind of wrap their brains around what it means to be working with your customers to develop custom mixes, run those EPDs, make comparisons. That's really that's awesome. So thanks for sharing that story. And now we'll move on to hear from Brian and Mike from Gate Precast. Take it away, Brian.
Great. Thank you, Suzanne. Great presentation. Good afternoon. My name is Brian Griffis. I'm the Vice President of Sales for Gate Precast based in Jacksonville, Florida. I want to thank you for attending this presentation. We're excited to share information and our continued support towards smarter and sustainable materials for our products.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm Mike Ryan. I'm the Vice President of Operations for Architectural and Structural Plants in Hillsborough, Texas. I'd say the green part of my journey started in 2008 when I got my LEED AP credential. I spent a lot of my career in California, where the green aspect of our industry was challenged by the design community of the state, and especially people like Ed Mazria. I heard a presentation of his a few years ago at a net zero conference in LA. He brought to light for me the importance of focusing on reducing the use of high impact materials such as steel and concrete. They're most widely used materials for building construction, and specifically to our industry, precast concrete, which is the focus of our presentation today.
Thanks, Mike. GATE operates 9 facilities across the United States, 6 architectural precast plants and 3 structural precast plants. The service area on your screen is our typical market that have completed projects all over the U.S. and internationally. GATE has been in business for over 40 years and takes pride in producing award-winning architectural and structural projects like One First South in Brooklyn, New York. GATE's sustainable approach for this project was incorporated through Design Assist by using 3D printed molds to reduce the mold materials required for the overall production, along with pre-glazing at our facility to reduce site disturbance, less man hours on site, and vehicular emissions. This is a great example of award-winning project that was originally designed as block, hollow core, metal, and brick, and converted to total precast. Getting involved early in Design Assist allow GATE the opportunity to convert this project to total precast by using precast walls, columns, beams, and hollow core. The total precast solution saved 5 months on the overall project schedule compared to the materials originally designed. The speed of construction, along with the resiliency of precast, will allow this building to remain in service for the next 80+ years. One sustainable benefit to this project was the simulated brick exterior panels. The existing Ponte Vedra Inn and Club Resort building all had handset brick and then was painted white. GATE, through Design Assist, provided a VE solution to simulate the brick by using a form liner and then painting the brick to match the existing building. Decks by GATE is located in Atlanta, Georgia. For years, Decks by GATE has redefined what is possible with high-performance concrete, producing stair treads, sinks, countertops, wall tile, hardscape furniture, and facades. All products from Decks are ultra-thin, using on average an inch of concrete to produce award-winning terrazzo and glass aggregate finishes. The Nike store in Miami is a beautiful example of a high-performance concrete exterior facade that was 1.5 inches thick. GATE has perfected the art of prefabrication. GATE Light is our lighter sustainable solution to our current offerings. GATE Light is 8.25 baseline prefabricated system that incorporates not only a reduction in concrete by using a 2.25 inch facade, but also has an HFO closed cell spray insulation and pre-glazed at our facility. The tube steel frame incorporated in this system also has recycled content. GATE Light allows the frame to control the design and freedom with designers to expand on unlimited options with openings and facade materials. This system is similar to traditional architectural precast panels when loaded to the structure, but is only 40 pounds on average compared to traditional precast at 75 pounds. So what does this do? It allows GATE to get involved early in Design Assist by reducing structural loads, potentially reducing structural loads, logistics with cranes, and reducing vehicular emission by being able to ship more products per load to the project site and pre-glaze to reduce the overall construction schedule. As mentioned, GATE Light is half the weight of traditional precast and allows the frame to support the facade load. The tube steel frame is designed to nest and allows the architect more freedom with joint locations. The mock-up example has the joints adjacent to the glazing and not like traditional precast that could have been at the columns or the spandrels. My last slide is a great example of GATE Light, the Baptist Healthcare project in Pensacola, Florida. The initial design used terracotta inlaid into our panels, so actual terracotta that we would put in our precast panels. It was later changed and value engineered to simulate the terracotta using specific precast aggregates and finish. As you can see in the middle picture, the glazing and the spray insulation was installed and then shipped to the project site. I will now turn this presentation over to Mike Ryan to expand on our offerings. Mike?
Thanks, Brian. In review of the CarbonSmart AIA material selection palette for high impact materials, 3 of the attributes are listed here, which are already inherent to precast concrete, such as reduce material usage, use materials where it's not, don't use it where it's not needed, use the appropriate building products for your climate zones for heat and moisture individually as a system. Use the appropriate product to withstand the wear and tear of your space and ensure the lifespan of the building. Again, these are inherent properties of precast in general. But the goal of our system is to reduce our embodied carbon by using less of these materials and using it more wise. You know, as far as high impact materials, we're really talking about the ordinary Portland cement in the concrete. It's the source of the most embodied carbon. You know, challenges for our industry is it takes time to change for industries that are centuries old. The Portland Cement Association has a roadmap to carbon neutrality, which is 2050. The AIA challenge is a much shorter timeline of 2030. You know, steel as well is challenged by the decarbonization and how you process and make the steel. Small manufacturers and users of these materials typically do not have the resources or capital to speed up the overall industry. So for GATE, we focused on what we can do at our level to reduce our carbon footprint as a manufacturer now and in the future. Brian went over some of the early attributes of our system, but really what we're saying is the prefabrication of a high quality system that has a long life cycle by reducing our embodied carbon that performs exceptionally to reduce our operational contribution of the facade. Insulation being another high impact material, our system uses the HFO spray foam that have minimal global warming potential. In combination with our higher strength concrete and its thermal mass, the high R value per inch of the HFO foam allows us to use less material versus other insulations and competing assemblies that is required to achieve the overall equivalent prescriptive U value in a given climate zone. In working with the Sustainable Mines, we have produced our first HPD for our gate light system, and we'll soon have an EPD for our overall system as well. The focus being on our concrete mix designs and admixtures, our frame and connection materials, the spray foam we use, and what's more importantly is independent third-party testing to verify that our systems perform as we state. On the right is our just recently published HPD. So with that being said, Terry was informed us today that, to her knowledge, this is the only one in the country to achieve this at this point for this CSI master format division. Some key learning and insights. Many of our product suppliers already have HPDs, LCAs, and EPDs, making it easy to complete ours. For instance, our co-presenter master builders, we use a lot of their admixtures in our concrete and are a great partner to us. Another key insight was, while accumulating the information, our team considered ways to improve the product choices we use, as well as a process to make it more efficient with less waste. We identified what we could change to further reduce our embodied carbon footprint for future iterations of the system, which is key. The key point is when it's economically available. Again, third-party testing for fire, sound, air, and water to identify areas of improvement, but those are the standards for which our industry is judged. Looking at the HFO spray foam in our plant, we're looking at better ways to install it with less people, less material, less waste. Future improvements and innovation, not only for industry-wide EPDs, but product-specific EPDs. There's a lot of companies out there that we have options as opposed to using steel. For instance, Owens Corning has a Simfill mini bar that replaces the welded wire mesh within the concrete. As far as ordinary Portland cement, there's options out there for fly ash in the short term, geopolymers in the long term, to completely eliminate the use of Portland cement. life cycle and resiliency. You know, they go kind of hand in hand. So this is a quote from Massimo Pizzol, talks about the importance of resiliency and life cycle. So if a product lasts a long time, you don't have to replace it. It has a lot of resiliency, especially with our climate changes and high impact weather events. We've done a lot of testing, not only the standard test, ASTM for fire, but water infiltration. For instance, we passed the test for hurricane level 2, 25 PSF, which is literally twice what a typical facade at the high end is tested for, with no leaks. We tested in Miami, the high impact missile test again on our products. Again, no damage to our product. So versus other materials, these products are going to be around a long time. So if you don't have to replace them with new materials, you've done a lot to look at your life cycle and the resiliency of your products. So the proof is in the pudding. So we hired a GluMac to do a Department of Energy eQuest energy performance simulation. So in this, there's a lot to digest on this screen, but we use this as a tool early on with our clients to look at different climates in our markets, different combinations of materials, window to wall ratios for the standard building in this eQuest energy performance simulation. So some of the findings on the baseline is the ASHRAE 90.1 for that climate zone, a metal stud wall, and competing against other systems such as curtain wall, metal studs for the W1 and W2. What this shows for the gate light system in W3 and W4, the W3 has 2 inches of spray foam. Like I said, use less material. W4 has 3 inches of spray foam. So what this is saying is optimize your material, use less as you can for the appropriate use and application given the climate zone. With that, the gate light system performed much better than the other systems, had a 17% energy savings over those competing systems. And this was shown as a simulation in Dallas, Texas. As far as a product selection filter, you know, some of the sustainability initiatives at Gate, you know, continue to look at raw materials, aggressively look at recycled use of materials, logistics and shipping, as Brian stated earlier. You know, if we could ship more product per load with less weight, we're saving. Constantly looking at new materials and methods, as Brian mentioned, you know, as far as the high strength concretes, use substantially less. Do lighter, high performing unitized systems with different product combinations. In the future, we're going to be looking at each plant and develop our products and make them with renewable energy. We believe Gate is at the forefront of addressing sustainability through innovation within our industry and hopefully a broader scope. Utilizing prefabrication and high performance systems not only help the embodied carbon, but operational carbon footprint as well. We thank you for your time. Terry?
Well, thank you, Brian and Mike. And I have to comment on, that is a very slick presentation embedding all those videos. That was very cool.
Thanks.
Well done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark,
Pardon?
we credit that with Jane Martin at Gate.
That's right.
Okay, we'll give credit where credit is due. Thank you, Jane. Well done. And very cool products. I think, you know, the work that you guys are doing to investigate new materials and alternatives, you're hitting all the things you should be doing to make those improvements. So let's go take a look at the transparency catalog, and we've got a really great set of attendees here today, people from the construction industry, from the design industry, and just show you how we've created the transparency catalog to be a tool that you should be able to use in minutes and find exactly what you need without paying for using it. So I should just start out there. Not only is the transparency catalog free to use, there's no login. You don't have to set up an account. We don't collect personal information. We believe that transparency and privacy go hand in hand. So there's no concern about, are you handing over private information? You're going to get some emails from people or calls that you don't want. There's none of that. So the transparency catalog includes all of the building product manufacturers anywhere in the world making products for the North American market. And we launched it in 2016 with 350 brands. That's all there were of manufacturers making products for the North American market. I left out the key differentiator, investing in product transparency. So it's only those manufacturers and only their products with transparency information is what you're going to find in the catalog. So there's already that meta filter over the catalog. We started with 350 brands. That's all there were. Today, there's over 1,650. This number continually goes up. The actual number of brands over the years doesn't increase as much as it did, but what's increasing quite dramatically is the number of products and materials from those brands, again, across the master format sections. We knew that it would always need to be a specification tool because that's how products get into projects. And so what we've worked to do every day is create functionality that's highly valuable to users in any stage of design through construction, and that it's really easy to use and understandable. So again, it's designed to be used at any stage in a project, from early stage research to selection and specification. It's a key tool in pre-construction, particularly when a contractor, when you're working on a lead building or a living building challenge building, you're going to be able to immediately find the materials that meet the design intent, find those manufacturers, reach out to them, learn about the distributors or their sales, direct sales, and get those quotes pulled together. And certainly in the submittal process, the users of the catalog are really everyone involved in every step that I just described at every level in the organization, from interns and people doing project support to project architects, designers, VP level folks, C-level folks, principals, really the whole spectrum, and certainly people in owner organizations as well, because everyone is involved in making decisions about products. Now, if you scroll down on the front page, what you're going to see is every single brand in the catalog. And we've always done this since we launched the catalog, had every brand on the front page, because there's something about, physically seeing the totality of the number of manufacturers investing in transparency. And also people just like to browse, they like to see, is a certain manufacturer there. So we've made that really simple. It's just anchor links. You can scroll down. The different type treatments describe the level of investment the manufacturer has made in the catalog. So featured brands are green with a box around them. Standard brands have green and bold. These two mean, most importantly for you, is that they've added their products organized by master format section, and all of the disclosures that go with each of those products is correlated to the product. You'll see it's easy to just find the product, find the disclosure. The companies where there's a regular link or a bold link means it's a free listing. We are continually adding those manufacturers and their disclosures to the catalog, but they have not yet added their products or taken control of their brands or contact information. But all of their disclosures are there, and part of the value add our data team does as they build out the catalog is when we add their disclosures, they are added to the primary master format section where that product would be found. So our commitment to the architecture and construction industry is that you will find every manufacturer investing in product transparency for the North American market in the transparency catalog, but not all of them have added their products. You're going to see how much easier it is to find the brands who have added their products and get their product information and get those products into your project, whereas you'll know that those other manufacturers have transparency, but it's going to be more difficult to find those products. But we have the link to their website. You can go there, look for yourself. But we've also added some tools to see if you can help us out by alerting the manufacturer that they might want to take a look at the transparency catalog. So I'm going to kind of draw your attention now to this power bar where we've combined master format filtering and searching. And then, so depending upon the use case or the task at hand for you, just doing filtering might be the right thing to do. Combining filtering and searching might be more specific, and I'll show you a couple of those scenarios. So the typical scenario, though, is let's say you're doing research on products for a project, and you want to go into Division 7. You're starting out doing research on Division 7. You could actually select the section that you want right here from the front page, or you might say, you know, I actually just want to go to Division 7. Oh, and by the way, it's reminding me, we did write a handy tooltip, and you're going to see these tooltips all through the catalog that provide information and definition and instruction, again, right there while you're using it so that you don't have to wonder what things are. So let's say I just want to go to Division 7 and see everything that's in Division 7 and start my more detailed research from that point. Now, Division 7, Division 9 are the largest divisions in the catalog in terms of content, and that's because there's more manufacturers, there's more sections. Division 7, Division 9 are very large divisions. So there's more manufacturers, there's more sections, there's more brands, there's more products. So you can see there's 279 brands, 1,867 products. But now what we've done, you could certainly page through page by page, but probably not going to be a very fruitful way of browsing. What we've done here is we've provided a whole range of filters that you can use any of them in any combination and turn them on in any order. So continuing with a use case, it might be you're doing research for Division 7 and you're working on a lead project. And so you might just start by saying, I just want to see all of the manufacturers that have products that will contribute to the EPD credit. And so you'll turn that filter on. And now you're going to see in Division 7, there's 199 brands, 730 products. So you might say, well, let's go for broke here. How many of these products also have material ingredient disclosures? And so I can specify one product that will contribute to both credits. And that filters it down pretty substantially to 8 brands, 268 products. You can always see who the brands are. And then you can filter by just those brands. You might say, oh, I like Owens Corning, Knauf, and GAF, and let me just see what they've got. And you can continue filtering that way. You know, another way, and just to take it one step further, you may not be working on a lead project, but you may want to be designing and specifying along those same lines. And so you could leave these filters on and say, hey, and I want product-specific EPDs, or I want a particular type of material ingredient disclosure like an HPD. And now it's going to filter it even further to just give you those manufacturers that have, and it's still actually, it's 8, those same 8 manufacturers will meet those same criteria. And so you can turn, again, any of these things on and off if you've narrowed the search too much. The other way you might do it is to you just not even look at rating system credits or even disclosure types at this point, or I could leave that on. But you might say, all right, I'm just going to start working on these different sections one at a time. So I'm going to start with 0720 thermal protection. So the way we've designed the filters is to enable two things. One is for users to be able to find brands they might not have known about, or to find solutions to the same design or specification problem that you might not have known existed. So the way we've done that is when you select 0720, we turn on every section in 0720. So what you actually have to do is go in and turn off what you don't want to see to filter down to what you do want to see. So just to even make it a little bit more robust, just turn off those filters. You'll see that there's actually a pretty substantial number of manufacturers and products in 0720. And so you might say, well, I'm not working on thermal insulation. I'm just going to turn all that off right now. I am going to work on roof and deck. I'm not going to work on exterior right now. I don't need weather barriers. I am going to need vapor barriers. So that's interesting. I'm going to come back and look at those later. Air barriers, that's great. I'm going to need those later. I'm going to turn those off for now, though. And so, by virtue of filtering to just what you're looking for right now, creates awareness for stuff that you might also be looking for in the future or in your next research. And so now you can see all of the manufacturers. There's 23 brands, 36 products in 0722 and 0722-16. If I click on GAF, which is a featured brand, they've created even more content about their products, but now I can come to their listing and look at all of the products in their listing. I can click here, go to their website, go to the EPD, go to the declare label. And also now you don't have to worry about is that the EPD, the declare label, the HPD, whatever types of disclosures they have that go with that product are linked right there. So you don't have to guess which disclosure goes with which product. So let's go back to the manufacturers that you're hearing from today. And here we are at the master builders listing. And I didn't filter and search to get there only because they have so many master format sections that their products are in. I just wanted you to be able to see how to use the listing. You can come here and kind of scan, look at the section you're looking for. And this is when you might decide, I just want to look at master builders. A use case for that would be from the front page, you could pick a division and just put in master builders, and it will take you to the search results and only show you those materials in that division from master builders, and you can always get to their listing from that link. Here's the contact form. So let's say you want to get some help with samples, more help with specifications, even quotes and submittal. You're going to click that link, and as Suzanne pointed out, on the left side, you'll be able to contact Suzanne directly. There's her email. If it's a link, just click on that, it pops it up. That's her phone number. Here's David Green, who does the LCA work. He's been in the field for a very long time. He's really an expert. More additional resources made available to you. But if you don't feel like reaching out to one of them directly, you can put in your own contact information, be more specific about what you need help with, maybe tell them the products they're interested in, the project name, their location. These are all optional. You might put in a message. And then Suzanne will actually get that inbound and route it to the right person if it's not her, to get back to you. And you can have them reach out to you to get your questions answered. So you're going to have a choice And by January, most of the manufacturers in the catalog will have this new contact form implemented. Master builders and Gate Precast are number 3 and 4 of the new listings that have this functionality. I'm going to pause the demo here. There are some questions that came in for our presenters, and I want to just go back to a couple of those. So Suzanne, one of the questions is directed to you. Of how can you explain how and why the concrete has a lower embodied carbon impact? What are you doing? How are you doing that?
Oh, that is a great question. And I'd like it to be a quick answer, but if any of you have worked in the, with concrete or mixed designs, there are so many different levers that you can pull to lower the embodied carbon in your concrete, all the way from materials to admixtures. There are many, many levers, and I'd be very happy to take this conversation offline and maybe get into some more specifics, if that's okay.
So the person who asked that question, you can go right to the master builders listing and contact Suzanne and have that conversation with her.
Yeah, and I can incorporate more material science experts and mixed design experts, and then even David Green, who can talk about the quantification of how we determine that, and it can be a much broader discussion. We're happy to have that.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to bring your attention here to Gate Precast in 0340 in the precast concrete section. It is pretty exciting because Gatelight did finish their HPD just today, and it was quite a project, given that the innovation for Gatelight is that there are so many materials layered together, procured from so many different suppliers. It was true supply chain transparency for Mike and his team to gather that information to put together this HPD. For those manufacturers who are on the call, Mike, do you have any learnings or feedback that you might want to share for those manufacturers getting started with projects like this?
Sure. I think, for us, working with our quality control department about every single ingredient, tracking down where they came from, and the materials within the materials, especially some of the chemicals in the master builder products, was a little bit daunting. And, it's taken probably 3 or 4 weeks, a month to collect that information. So I would say collecting the information was probably the biggest challenge.
But some of those people had HPDs, right?
That's correct. But, like I mentioned, the products within the products, the spray foam, drilling down into, what's actually in an HSS tube seal material. So some of those items aren't readily available.
Right. So, so not only is it, so the point I'm trying to make is that getting suppliers to be transparent and providing that information can often be challenging, but with the number of suppliers that you needed to work with, the fact that a number of them had already created HPDs, that's how supply chain transparency works. The ability to get that information from suppliers so that the finished product manufacturer can have that transparency story for their finished product. So not only is Gatelight the only product in 034833 to our knowledge, to my knowledge, it's actually the only one with HPDs or any other transparency disclosure Because if there were others, they would be in the catalog. So I think that's a real testament to the innovation that GATE is achieving, and the fact that it's not easy to put this information together. You know, it's not easy, it's risky, it's complicated, but here it is. And now those of you working on high performance buildings, LEED projects, Living Building Challenge, this is going to be the high performance product for you. It looks like some of the other questions we can follow up with after the webinar. I'm going to wrap this up on time. And Kevin, Mike, Suzanne, thank you so much for your time today and for sharing your stories. Thanks to everyone who came and stayed with us through the duration. There are a few questions on the way out. If you care to respond, we'd appreciate that. And watch for an email from us the next day or two with the link to the recording. Please use the catalog. Again, it's free. Tell your friends. And have a great day and a great holiday season. Thanks again.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Thank you.